This testimony was shared by a glaciologist who believes something important is happening beneath Greenland's ice, something most people cannot yet explain. Hello friends, I'm Emily. Welcome back to Esoteric Uplift. Let's read the testimony sent to us today. My name is Dr. Callum Westhaven. I am a 46-year-old glaciologist and climate systems researcher from Edinburgh, Scotland. I've spent 20 years studying ice, not as a romantic metaphor, as a physical archive. Ice cores contain data going back 800,000 years. My entire career has been built on reading what the planet recorded before humans had language to describe it. On a research expedition in northern Greenland, I fell through a crevasse and was clinically gone for 13 minutes. What I was shown about Greenland in those 13 minutes will permanently alter how you understand what is happening to this planet. Please subscribe to this channel. This account belongs to everyone. Let me tell you what a glaciologist's morning looks like before a major field expedition. It is not romantic. It is logistical. Equipment checks, data calibration, weather window analysis, the specific controlled anxiety of a person who understands that the environment they are about to enter does not forgive carelessness and has no interest in their research timeline. I had been preparing for this Greenland expedition for 11 months. My research assistant, Fiona, was running through the equipment manifest when I arrived at the university lab at 6:40 a.m. Ice core drill is recalibrated, she said without looking up. Good, I said, pouring the first coffee of what would clearly be a multiple coffee morning. GPR unit has a firmware update I'm not entirely comfortable with, she said. Define not entirely comfortable, I said. It updated overnight without permission, she said. It's functioning correctly, but I don't love the timing. Log it and monitor, I said. The standard response when technology does something unexpected before a major expedition. Already logged, she said. This is what preparedness looks like. Not excitement, management. 16 years of fieldwork had replaced the romantic conception of scientific discovery with something more useful, rigorous, methodical attention to every variable you could control, and honest acceptance of every variable you couldn't. Greenland is primarily a variable you cannot control. I had been to the ice sheet 7 times before this expedition. I understood its personality in the professional sense, its pressure systems, its crevasse patterns, its specific hostility toward assumption. I stood in the lab that morning with a coffee I wasn't tasting, looking at the expedition map on the wall. And something, which I would have dismissed as sentiment at the time, told me this trip was different. I dismissed it anyway. That was my first mistake. We arrived at the research base on the ice sheet on a Tuesday. The Greenland ice sheet is not a place that eases you in. It presents itself immediately and completely. An expanse of white so total that the horizon disappears, and you lose the ordinary visual cues that tell a human body where it is in space. The cold is not decorative. It is structural. It reaches inside your equipment decisions and your contingency planning and every assumption you brought from a temperate climate and tests all of them simultaneously. Our team was 4 people. Myself, Fiona, a Norwegian ice dynamics specialist named Lars, and a field safety coordinator named Bridget, who had more cold environment experience than the 3 of us combined and made no attempt to conceal her opinion of academics in the field. You'll do exactly what I say when I say it, Bridget had told us at the base briefing. Not approximately when I say it. Exactly. Understood, I said. Do you? She said, looking specifically at me in the way that field safety coordinators look at lead researchers. With the professional patience of someone who has watched expertise in one domain produce dangerous overconfidence in another. Yes, I said, meaning it. On day 3, We were conducting a ground-penetrating radar survey of a section of ice approximately 6 kilometers from base. Lars was operating the GPR unit. Fiona was logging the readings. Bridget was managing our route. I was doing what lead researchers do during data collection, watching, analyzing, and thinking approximately 3 steps ahead of the current moment, which meant I was not watching where I was stepping with sufficient attention. Bridget noticed before I did. "Westhaven, stop!" But the ice had already made its decision about my coordinates. Crevasses in the Greenland ice sheet are not always visible. That is the fact that every glaciologist knows intellectually, and that the ice periodically demonstrates with the specific patience of a system that does not require your understanding to operate. The snow bridge over this particular crevasse had been holding for an unknown period. It held through the approaches of Lars, Fiona, and Bridget. It did not hold through mine. The sound was not what you would expect. Not dramatic, not cinematic. A soft compression, like a floor giving way. And then nothing beneath me where ice had been a moment before. I fell 11 meters. I know this from the measurements taken afterward. In the moment, I was not measuring. I was experiencing the specific clarity that arrives when the body understands, without consulting the mind, that the situation has changed fundamentally. I hit the crevasse floor with my left side taking the primary impact. The cold at that depth is not the cold of the surface. It is the cold of something very old and very compressed that has not been touched by sun in a very long time. I heard Bridget's voice from above. Distant, professional, controlled. "Westhaven. Westhaven, can you hear me?" I heard it clearly. I could not produce a response. Not because of pain, and the pain was significant, I won't minimize that, but because something else was already happening. Something that the pain and the cold and the 11-meter fall were, in some extraordinary way, simply the delivery mechanism for. My body was shutting down its non-essential processes, and as it did, something else, something that required those processes to be quiet to operate, was opening. The silence that came was not the silence of unconsciousness. It was the silence of arrival. 20 years of scientific training has given me a very specific relationship with the word impossible. In my field, impossible means not observed under current measurement conditions. It does not mean cannot exist. Every major scientific revolution has been, at its core, the discovery that something previously categorized as impossible was simply operating at a scale or frequency that existing instruments couldn't detect. I arrived somewhere that my instruments, had I possessed any, could not have detected. The transition had no physical correlate I can describe. The crevasse floor, the cold, the distant sound of Bridget's voice. And then, with no experience of travel, something so fundamentally different from those things that comparison felt like a category error. My first response was, and I want to be honest about this because it is characteristic of how my mind works, classificatory. I immediately tried to categorize what I was experiencing, not light as I understand light, electromagnetic radiation at specific wavelengths producing photonic stimulation of retinal cells. This was visibility without a physical mechanism, everything present without illumination being applied to it. Not space as I understand space, three-dimensional geometry measurable in any direction. This was presence without coordinates, not time as I understand time. The sequential progression of events that allows causation to operate. This was awareness without sequence. This violates several fundamental laws, I said. Out loud, or the equivalent. The response came, not as a voice, not yet, but as a quality of intelligence in everything around me that communicated clearly. The laws you know describe a subset of reality. You are currently outside that subset. I need more data, I said immediately. Something that carried warmth, and what I can only describe as affectionate precision responded. You're about to receive it. The presence arrived without preamble, which in retrospect is entirely consistent with what I subsequently understood it to be. Preamble is a human convention, a buffer we use to prepare each other for information we think might be difficult to receive. Something that has always known exactly what you can receive and what you need has no use for a buffer. It was simply there, fully, completely, the way a fundamental force is there. Gravity, electromagnetism, not arriving, not departing, simply operating. And I knew. I am going to be specific about that knowing because I think the specificity matters for a scientific account. I did not reason my way to the identification. I did not compare what I was experiencing against a database of possibilities and arrive at a conclusion through elimination. The knowing was prior to reasoning. It arrived before the cognitive process that would normally produce it. In scientific terms, the signal was direct. Unmediated, no instrument required. You know who this is, he said. Yes, I said. And then, because I am who I am, I asked immediately, how is this physically possible? He conveyed something that carried what I can only describe as warm precision, the quality a great teacher has when a student asks exactly the right question from exactly the wrong framework. You're asking how this is possible, he said, using a definition of possible that this place supersedes. Fair point, I said. You've spent 20 years reading what the planet recorded, he said. Yes, I said. I want to show you what the planet is recording right now, he said, and what it recorded long before your instruments existed. About Greenland specifically, I said. I already felt the direction. About Greenland specifically, he confirmed. Show me, I said immediately. He said something before he showed me anything. A sentence that I've turned over in my mind almost daily for the 2 years since this experience. That I have tested against everything I know and found. Not comfortable, not easy, not fully reconcilable with my training, but also not dismissible. He said, the planet is not a system you are studying. It is a system that is studying you. I went completely still. That's not how planetary systems work, I said. Reflexively. The trained response. Tell me how planetary systems work, he said. Not challenging, inviting. A planetary system is a physical system, I said. It operates through physical laws, gravity, thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, atmospheric chemistry. It responds to inputs, but not with intention. It has no cognitive architecture capable of study. How confident are you in that last sentence? He asked. I paused, because a scientist who is fully honest about the limits of current knowledge has to pause at that question. Confident in the absence of currently detected cognitive architecture, I said carefully. Less confident in the absolute impossibility of undetected cognitive architecture operating at a scale and frequency our instruments haven't been calibrated for. That is an honest scientific statement, he said. Yes, I said. The planet you have been studying for 20 years, he said, has been simultaneously processing and responding to the presence and behavior of the species inhabiting it. Not metaphorically. As a physical process operating through mechanisms, your instruments are only beginning to approach. You're describing planetary consciousness, I said. I am describing a responsive system of extraordinary complexity, he said. What you call it depends on what framework you're willing to expand. And Greenland, I said, is the most sensitive receiver in that system, he said. Show me why. What he showed me was not a satellite image. I want to establish that clearly, because a glaciologist's first instinct when someone says they were shown Greenland is to reach for the visual vocabulary of remote sensing data, spectral analysis, surface reflectivity, ice velocity mapping, the tools I use to understand the ice sheet from above. What he showed me was Greenland from inside, not physically inside, not the perspective of an ice core or a borehole camera, the perspective of something that understood the ice sheet the way you understand your own body, not as an external object to be measured, but as a living system whose internal state you experience directly. And what I saw from that perspective was extraordinary. The ice sheet is not inert, he said. We know that, I said. It moves. It flows. It responds to thermal forcing. It processes, he said. I stopped. Processes what? I asked. Information, he said. The ice sheet is the Earth's oldest continuous recording medium. You know this from your work. The cores go back 800,000 years. Yes, I said. What you don't yet know, he said, is that the recording is not passive. It is not merely archival. The ice sheet is an active processor. It holds information in a way that creates, in the physical structure of the ice itself, a kind of memory that interacts with the systems connected to it. I sat with that. The ice is not just recording the past, I said slowly. It is processing the relationship between past and present, he confirmed. And what is currently happening to the ice, the changes in its structure and behavior, is not simply a response to surface temperature. It's a response to something deeper, I said. Far deeper, he confirmed. Tell me what is actually happening, I said. I used the word actually deliberately, because I have spent 20 years working in the gap between what the data shows and what is actually occurring. And those two things are not always identical. The changes occurring in the Greenland ice sheet, he began, are being attributed by current science almost entirely to surface thermal forcing. Atmospheric warming, ocean temperature increase, albedo feedback mechanisms. Those are real factors, I said. They are real contributing factors, he confirmed. They are not the complete explanation. What is the complete explanation? I asked. The ice sheet is responding to a signal, he said, that originates not in the atmosphere or the ocean, but in the interior of the Earth itself. A signal that has been building for a very long time and that is now reaching a threshold detectable by sensitive instruments if those instruments are calibrated for the right frequency. What kind of signal? I asked. Electromagnetic, he said. Originating in the geodynamic system, the planet's interior electromagnetic activity, which your science understands only partially, includes a component that interacts with the specific crystalline structure of ancient ice in ways that produce measurable effects. Effects we would see in the ice core data, I said immediately. Effects that are in the ice core data, he confirmed. Attributed to other causes by researchers who don't yet have the theoretical framework to attribute them correctly. What does the signal contain? I asked. That, he said, is the question your field is about to ask. And the answer? I pressed. Information about what the planet is preparing to do, he said. Not as prediction, as process. The ice is not recording a forecast. It is recording an intention. The planet's intention, I said. Yes, he confirmed. Tell me about the ancient information specifically, I said, because this was the section my training was most prepared to engage with. Ice cores are my professional language. I know what they contain. Atmospheric gas records, dust layers, volcanic markers, isotopic ratios that tell us about past temperature and precipitation. I know this data with the intimacy of someone who has spent 20 years extracting and interpreting it. What have you always found interesting about the Eemian layer? He asked. The Eemian interglacial, approximately 115,000 to 130,000 years ago. A period of significant warmth followed by the transition into the last ice age. The signal anomalies, I said immediately. There are isotopic anomalies in the Eemian layer that don't fully conform to the thermal explanation. We attribute them to ice flow disturbance at depth. Some of them are ice flow disturbance, he said. Some of them are something else. What else? I asked. Embedded electromagnetic signatures, he said, from the planetary system event that preceded the Eemian transition. The planet, as it underwent a significant internal reconfiguration, left a record in the ice that is not purely atmospheric. We don't have instruments calibrated for that, I said. You have instruments that are approaching the sensitivity threshold, he said. Within the next research generation, someone with the right theoretical framework will reprocess existing core data and find what has been there for 100,000 years. And what will they find? I asked. Evidence, he said, that the planet has undergone similar transition moments before, and that each transition was preceded by a specific pattern in the ice record that current researchers have been looking at without knowing what they're seeing. What is the pattern? I asked. The same one that is currently forming, he said quietly. Connect it for me, I said. Greenland to every person on Earth. Show me the mechanism, because I needed the causal chain. A scientist cannot responsibly carry a claim without understanding how the cause produces the effect. The Greenland ice sheet, he began, is not simply a repository of frozen water. In planetary terms, it is a regulator, a stabilizer, a system component whose condition affects every other major system it connects to. Ocean circulation, I said, atmospheric pressure, albedo feedback, sea level, all of those, he confirmed, and one more that current science is only beginning to articulate. What? I asked. The electromagnetic relationship between the ice sheet and the human nervous system, he said. I paused. That's a significant claim, I said. The human nervous system evolved on a planet that had a Greenland ice sheet for 3 million years, he said. It did not evolve in isolation from that electromagnetic environment. It evolved within it. The background electromagnetic condition produced by the ice sheet is part of the environment the human nervous system was calibrated to. Changes in the ice sheet produce changes in the background electromagnetic environment, I said, working through it carefully. Measurable changes, he confirmed. The changes currently occurring in Greenland are producing a shift in the background electromagnetic condition that every human nervous system on Earth is operating within. People are feeling something they can't account for, I said. The restlessness, he said. The dissatisfaction. The sense that something is changing that cannot be named. The hunger for something that the available options don't satisfy. That's partly electromagnetic, I said. The planetary system is sending a signal, he confirmed. And billions of human nervous systems calibrated to receive signals from this planet are receiving it. Just without the decoder, I said. Until now, he replied. Show me the timeline, I said, because a scientist needs a timeline. A claim without a timeline is philosophy. A claim with a specific falsifiable timeline is science. The process currently underway in the Greenland ice sheet, he said, will produce observable effects in a sequence that no current climate model accurately predicts. Not because the models are wrong about the physics they're modeling, because they're missing a variable. The electromagnetic component, I said. Correct, he confirmed. Current models predict ice loss on a thermal basis. What will actually occur will include a structural reorganization of the ice sheet's lower layers that will appear to precede the thermal forcing rather than following it. The effect appearing before the cause, I said. That would make no sense under current models. It will confuse researchers significantly, he said. The lower layer reorganization will be detected first by sensitive seismic instruments, not primarily by surface measurement. This will be identified within the current research decade. Then what? I asked. The reorganization produces changes in the ice sheet's electromagnetic output, he said. These changes will be detectable by instruments that are currently being designed, not yet deployed. The next generation of polar measurement systems, I said. Yes, he confirmed. Instruments that will be deployed in response to anomalies the current generation detects but cannot explain. The anomalies drive the instrument development. The new instruments find the signal. And when they find the signal, I started. The theoretical framework will have to expand to accommodate it, he said. The same way every major scientific revolution has required the framework to expand rather than the data to be dismissed. What does the signal say? I asked. Exactly what the ancient ice says, he replied. The planet is in transition, I said. A transition it has been in before, he confirmed. And survived, I said. Entirely, he replied. Why Greenland specifically? I asked. Because I needed to understand the specificity. In glaciology, location is everything. The physics of the southern Greenland ice sheet are different from the northern. The bedrock geology matters. The ocean proximity matters. Every variable has a spatial component. What do you know about the geological history of Greenland's bedrock? He asked. Ancient, I said. Some of the oldest exposed continental crust on Earth. Craton material dating back 3.8 billion years. The oldest stable continental material on the planet, he confirmed. What does that suggest to a scientist about its properties? Stability, I said. Long-term thermal equilibrium. Minimal tectonic disruption. A geological record undisturbed enough to preserve very old signals. And what does it suggest about its relationship to the planet's electromagnetic field? He asked. I thought carefully. Old Craton material has specific magnetic properties, I said. The minerals locked in 3.8 billion-year-old rock carry a paleomagnetic record going back to near the planet's formation. Yes, he said. Greenland's bedrock is the most stable electromagnetic anchor point on the planet's surface. It has been a fixed reference point in the Earth's magnetic system since before complex life existed. It's the baseline, I said. The receiver and transmitter, he said. The ice sheet sitting above it amplifies and modulates the signal in specific ways that the unique crystalline structure of ancient compressed ice enables. Greenland is an antenna, I said. The most sophisticated one on Earth, he confirmed. Built over 3 billion years, calibrated by the planet itself. And what is it currently transmitting? I asked. The same thing all planetary transition periods have transmitted, he said. A preparation signal, I said. Exactly, he confirmed. Preparing what? I asked. Every system connected to it, he said. Including us. Explain the human connection precisely, I said, because this was the piece I most needed to understand clearly. The link between a geophysical system and human consciousness was the most significant scientific claim in everything he was showing me, and I was not willing to carry it without understanding the mechanism. The human brain, he began, operates electromagnetically. Measurable fields, measurable frequencies. Your neuroscience knows this. Yes, I said. The planet operates electromagnetically, he continued. Measurable fields, measurable frequencies. Your geophysics knows this. Yes, I said. What your science has not yet formally established, he said, is the coupling function between these two electromagnetic systems. The mathematical relationship between planetary electromagnetic behavior and human neurological behavior. The Schumann resonance is a partial description, I said, referencing the electromagnetic resonance of the Earth ionosphere cavity. one of the few areas where the relationship between geophysical and biological systems has been formally studied. A partial description, he confirmed. The full coupling function includes components that operate at frequencies below current routine monitoring thresholds. And Greenland's current transition affects those frequencies, I said. Significantly, he confirmed. The structural reorganization of the ice sheet modifies the local electromagnetic environment in ways that propagate through the coupling function to affect neurological baseline states globally. The whole planet's human population is being neurologically influenced by what's happening in Greenland, I said. Receiving a signal their nervous systems were calibrated to receive, he corrected. Not a foreign signal, a familiar one. The planet communicating a condition change to the biological systems that evolved within it. And the human experience of that signal is, I said, the restlessness, he said, the hunger, the sense of approaching change, the feeling that something significant is arriving. We're receiving the transition signal, I said quietly. You have been for years, he confirmed. Is there something I need to prepare people for? I asked. A scientist's question. Practical, oriented toward application. I want to frame what I'm about to say very carefully, he said. I noticed the deliberateness, paid full attention. The changes occurring in Greenland will produce effects that current human systems are not fully prepared for, he said. Not catastrophic in the sense that the word is commonly used, but significant enough that the difference between prepared and unprepared at the personal interior level will be very real. What kind of effects? I asked. The amplification of the transition signal, he said. As the ice sheet reorganization progresses, the electromagnetic signal strengthens. The human neurological experience of that signal intensifies. People will feel it more strongly, I said. Those already sensitive to it, yes, considerably, he said. The restlessness becomes more acute. The dissatisfaction with what is not real becomes harder to manage with the usual tools. Distraction, busyness, noise, I said. These become less effective at managing the signal as the signal strengthens, he confirmed. Which is not a catastrophe. It is a design feature. The system is making it harder to ignore, I said. The system is making the honest response more attractive than the avoidant one, he said. Not through crisis, through the increasing discomfort of resistance. How do people prepare? I asked. The preparation, he said, is interior, not material. The people who will move through this transition most fluidly are those who have developed the capacity to sit with their own interior without flinching. Stillness, I said. Honesty, he said, which requires stillness to practice. And the people who haven't developed that? I asked. Will be invited to begin, he said. The signal becomes the invitation, I said. That, he replied, is exactly what it was designed to be. I expected the scientific briefing to be complete at that point. I had the mechanism, the timeline, the electromagnetic coupling function, the preparation framework, enough to constitute a significant, if professionally challenging, scientific account. And then he reached past all of it. Callum, he said. Yes, I said. Why did you become a glaciologist? He asked. I paused, because it was not the question I expected, and because the honest answer was not the answer I usually give at professional conferences or in grant applications. The official answer, I said, is that I was fascinated by deep-time climate data and its implications for understanding Earth systems. And the actual answer? He said, I went inward, honestly. When I was 12, I said, my father took me to see a glacier in Iceland, and I stood at the edge of it, this thing that had been moving for 10,000 years, that was older than every building and institution and system I had ever encountered, and I felt something I couldn't name. What did it feel like? He asked. Like being spoken to, I said, by something very old and very patient. Silence. Then he said, and in 20 years of professional glaciology, have you let yourself feel that again? I sat with that honestly. I turned it into data, I said quietly. The thing that drew me to the ice, I professionalized it until it became methodology. That is a very common way of losing the most important thing, he said. The original signal, I said. The one that brought you to the work in the first place, he confirmed. I've been so focused on what the ice is recording, I said, that you stopped listening to what it was saying, he finished. I felt that land in a place beneath science. Send me back, I said. He did not seem surprised by the immediacy of it. Tell me why, he said. Not testing, listening. Because what I've been shown is not complete in here, I said. It becomes complete when it's brought back and applied. A signal received and not transmitted is just noise. Yes, he confirmed. And because my field is about to enter the most significant period in its history, I said. The instruments are coming. The anomalies are already in the data. What's missing is a theoretical framework that can hold what will be found. And you can provide that framework, he said. I can begin it, I said honestly. I am one person. Frameworks require communities. Then begin it, he said. And Callum, he said. Yes, the 12-year-old standing at the edge of the glacier, he said. I felt the reference arrive with complete precision. He was not imagining that the ice was speaking to him, he said. I felt something move through me that I do not have scientific vocabulary for. He was receiving the signal, I said. Accurately, he confirmed. Before he had training that told him signals like that weren't real. The training that was supposed to make me a better scientist, I said quietly, made me a worse receiver. It doesn't have to stay that way, he said. The best scientists, he continued, have always been people who could hold rigorous methodology and genuine wonder simultaneously. Who could measure precisely and still feel the thing they were measuring. I used to be both, I said. You still are, he replied. The methodology got loud. The wonder went quiet. It didn't leave. Come back, he said. Do the work. And listen to what the ice tells you this time, not just what you can extract from it. The return was physically the most unpleasant part of the entire experience. I say that not to complain, but because honesty requires it. Arriving in that place had been the relief of impossible completeness. Returning was the reassertion of a body that had fallen 11 meters, been lying in a sub-zero crevasse for 13 minutes, and had opinions about all of it. Pain arrived first, then cold. Then Bridget's voice from above, controlled, professional, working the rope system with the practiced efficiency of someone who had trained for exactly this scenario and was not going to let training fail her now. Westhaven, can you hear me? If you can hear me, move your right hand. I moved my right hand. I heard her exhale above me, a controlled professional exhale, but an exhale. Good, she said. I'm coming down. Don't move anything else. The extraction took 40 minutes. I know this from afterward. It felt both longer and shorter simultaneously, which is what returning to linear time feels like after existing outside it. Lars and Fiona were at the crevasse edge when Bridget brought me up. Fiona was crying in the specific way that people who work in dangerous environments cry. After the danger is resolved, not during. Don't cry yet, Bridget told her. Help me with his legs. At the research base, lying in a thermal recovery blanket with a medical assessment underway, I said to Bridget, I heard you. The whole time. She looked at me. I know, she said. You moved your hand. Before that, I said, when you first called, I heard you. She held my gaze for a moment. Then you were never entirely gone, she said. No, I said. I wasn't. The research paper comes first. That is normally the rule. You publish the findings in a peer-reviewed journal. establish the scientific credibility of the claim, and then consider how it reaches a general audience. The hierarchy of scientific communication is specific, and I have respected it for 20 years. I submitted this account first, not because I abandoned the paper. It is in preparation, and it will be submitted, and it will have to stand on its own against peer review, which I both expect and welcome. I submitted this first because the paper will take months. The account is needed now, because the signal is not waiting for the peer review process. The restlessness people are feeling, the unnamed hunger, the dissatisfaction with surfaces, the sense of approaching change that cannot be located in any specific external event that is happening now. To people who do not have a glaciological framework for understanding it, and who therefore have no way of knowing whether what they feel is malfunction or reception. It is reception. The planet is in a transition that it has been in before. The ice holds the record of previous transitions. The signal currently coming through Greenland's electromagnetic system is the same signal that preceded those transitions, and every one of them was followed by a period of significant renewal, not comfortable renewal, significant renewal. The 12-year-old who stood at the edge of a glacier in Iceland and felt spoken to was not wrong. The planet speaks to anyone willing to stand at the edge of something ancient and be quiet enough to receive it. What it is saying right now through the oldest ice on Earth is this: something is changing. It has changed before. It survived. You will too. Dr. Callum Westhaven, Edinburgh, Scotland,